Welcome back to the channel. It's your LB podcast, and today we are here to talk transfers, Liverpool transfers, where we think we need to strengthen, why there has been sort of a lack of activity when it comes to Liverpool transfers, and the positions where we think we should strengthen. So let's get into it, Stana. Hope everything is going well and you're enjoying the summer and the preseason. So, first of all, where do you think we need to strengthen as a Liverpool fan? Where would you like Liverpool to strengthen? How many players do you think we should bring in?
Yeah, first of all, one thing that I do need to talk about is the current squad that we have. I don't think we should be thinking about selling players at this moment in time. Curtis Jones, McAllister, all the players that have been linked with the move away should that shouldn't be a conversation that we should be having. The only players I feel could potentially should be allowed to leave if the offer is right is Joe Gomez, Federico Chiesa, maybe Wataru Endo, possibly. Aside, I don't think anyone should be leaving. Now, our squad is very thin right now. One thing that I also think that we do need to consider, especially Andoni Raiola, is he needs to bring in some of the free players into the team, like Trey Nyoni, someone like Calvin Ramsey at right back. Those guys, if they impress in preseason, they should be given a chance in the first team and given a proper run in the team, because we do need to bring some of those players in. Because I don't think we can sign 7 or 6 players, because that is what I feel we need. I think we
Yeah,
need at
I
least
agree.
5 players or 7 at best. But I don't think that will happen anyway. So I think those players should be given a chance if they are to prove their worth in preseason. Now, where do we need signings? Very rightly, so everyone knows we need a right winger. Now we are in the market for one. I'm sure we come to the target that we'll talk about. So we need a right winger. We bought Munoz. He's a left winger. So maybe I'll leave that there. I'm sure we'll come back to the attack. Ekitike will be back somewhere around April next year. So it means we need another attacker, even if we get a right winger. That is what I feel. I think we also need cover at right back again, because Conor Bradley will not be fit. He will also be in the same time frame as Ekitike somewhere around next year. And we need another centre back as well. I think those are the key areas: a centre back, a right back, a right winger, and another attacker, preferably a number 9. That is 4
Okay.
players. I also do think we need a defensive midfielder, making 5. A defensive
Mm.
midfielder. I even forgot to speak about. I think that is also another priority. I don't think it's a want. It's a need. We need another defensive midfielder in there with Gravenberg and possibly to
But don't you
compete
think
with
that
Alexis McAllister.
Iraola might be able to rotate Gravenberg and McAllister in that position? So that is going in the 10 position is going to be Soboslai and Vets in the 10 position. So that over there in that base is going to be always either we have McAllister, Jones, or Gravenberg. So at least he has 3 players. Then they might not consider that to be a priority area that we need signings in. On top of that, we have Trey Nyoni who can also come in certain times or in certain games, especially in some of the home games that we think that we are better than the opponent and we can absolutely smash them. So maybe that is why we haven't had a lot of chat about the defensive midfield area. But I also think that we do need someone in that position as well. The next thing is Barcola. The Barcola links hasn't gone away. It's been constant even from last season. I think there was a possibility he was going to come in as the last signing or one additional signing after Isaac, but it didn't happen. Now the rumors are still there. It seems it is very concrete that Liverpool have interest in it. Even if there hasn't been any sort of advanced talks, we know now that from what we are hearing, there's a lot of interest. Why do you think Liverpool are interested in Barcola, first of all?
I think Liverpool really want a winger that is already established in the European game that can just come in straight away and start playing. I think they look at our team, especially at the attack, and how abysmal we were in front of goal last year. Maybe they feel like they don't want to bring in another player that will come in, try to understudy. They want someone that can hit the ground running. That is why they are in for Barcola. But Barcola really a traditional right winger, like a Salah left-footed player that would want to cut in and shoot and those type. I don't think Barcola is a that kind of right winger. But I do also feel that Barcola is dynamic enough. He can play on the right, although predominantly at PSG and even in the World Cup, I did see him basically as the left winger for France. And even when he does come on for PSG, especially for example in the Champions League final, he came on the left wing in the semi-final against Bayern. He came on. He was on the left wing, but he does have what it takes to play on the right. I would also say so. Barcola would have been a great option. I also do think that for the price, Barcola wouldn't cost less than 120 million pounds. For a player that is costing 120 million pounds, that is not really a specialist at right wing. Is that really the way to go? Now, we were also in the market for Yan Diamondi just to add him so that we take that up together with the Barcola situation. He is now
Okay, go for it.
probably going to Madrid. Now, did he not want Liverpool
The
or did
deal is
he
basically
prefer
done.
PSG over Liverpool?
The here we go has already been posted, so I
Yeah,
think it's a done deal.
because for Yan Diomande in the World Cup, we did see him play as the right winger. So
Mm,
I would say he was really well suited for that right hand side. Barcola is a very good player that I think if he comes in, there's only one aspect of his game that he will need to improve, and that is the final ball, the final touch, the finishing, the final chance
mm.
creation. And even with that, he still scores goals and assists for PSG. He still will get you 20 goals and assists in the League One. You would say it's the League One, so of course he will need to improve it if he does come in. So I think Bakula is a decent option, but I think it has gone on for quite a bit now. It's gone on for far too long for my liking. The lack of activity in the market, even the lack of rumors, I would say, for Liverpool in the transfer market is really, really concerning.
Yeah, I think right now, listening to you, one thought that came to mind about why Liverpool probably wants to go after Barcola is the fact that we've seen Iraola play right-footed players on the right when he was at Bournemouth. So I don't know. Maybe they are thinking that this manager, he likes to put right-footed players out there on the right, and maybe he asks them to do certain specific job over there, and that might help the team. So maybe that is why they are going for. Because we saw Semenyo sometimes playing on the right at Bournemouth, and he really improved his game on that side. So maybe that is one reason. But for me, I think spending all that money on a player who doesn't score a lot of goals, even though you mentioned he scores goals, I don't think he scores enough goals for a Liverpool to consider spending that much on him. And I do also think that for how the team has been set up at the moment, you don't expect the right winger or the left winger to be a main source of goals. Now, Liverpool's goals should be coming from the middle. It should be coming from the likes of Florian Wirtz, Soboslai, Alexander Isak. Those are the
Yeah.
main guys who are responsible. The responsibility is on those guys to get the goals, right? So anybody who comes in as the winger, whether a young player or an established winger, your job is to put the balls in areas where those guys that I mentioned can finish. So Boslai, Vets, Isak, Ekitike, those are our finishers. That is why we brought them in. We didn't bring them in to try and facilitate. No, 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 no. They are finishers. They put the ball at the back of the net. they give assists. Those are so on the right hand side and on the left hand side, those are where we need the facilitators. Now Liverpool's team structure and shape has changed from what it used to be under Jurgen Klopp. And I think it is that evolution that we are seeing. And so, but then I'm very concerned about the amount of money that might go into this deal. And I don't think it is value for money. But if Liverpool decide to spend it, I wouldn't be mad at all. But let's look at the issue you mentioned about the lack of rumors and links of top players to Liverpool this summer. It looks like apart from the Barcola deal and maybe previously the Yan Diomande rumors, we don't really hear a lot about Liverpool going after players, especially in the positions that you mentioned in defense, at right back, in the number 9 position, in the 6, the deep lying role, right? We don't hear that. It looks like things are very, very slow. We have only a month left, I think, in the transfer window. And normally, Liverpool do their business before the start of the season. So, given that Michael Edwards has left the club and we expect Richard Hughes to also leave at the end of the summer, do you think that is something that is influencing how things are happening this summer? And do you think that might actually um, sort of make things a bit slow this summer, just this summer, so that they bring someone into that role who is going to be sort of a long-term person who is going to be there for the January transfer window in the next summer? Liverpool, we've seen Liverpool do this before. When Anna Slot came in, we didn't sign anybody, with the exception of bringing in Chiesa that particular summer. So Liverpool is capable of keeping their powder dry. Maybe they bring in Barcola and that's it, right? And then they see what Andoni Raiola is able to cook with the materials that he
Yeah.
has available, with the
Mm.
academy players and all that. They will see what he can do. And then they will go again. Maybe in January, they will go for 1 or 2 players. And then in the next summer, they try and do substantive signings. I think that is something that is very possible. What do you think?
I'm not too sure what to make of the hierarchy, Richard Hughes, and Michael Edwards going out of the door at Liverpool, and if that actually has a major impact in our lack of signings or the lack of even rumors in us signing players. I don't know the extent to which I can make a case out of that, because they are in the job right now, and I don't think if you're going to sign a player, I think the player you are going to sign really looks at the manager in the dugout and the continuity, or let me say the future of the manager, more than the sporting director or whoever is behind the doors at Liverpool. So I don't know whether to place much of my worry into their futures, because I always feel for players, they would rather look at the manager. Does the manager have the security of his job tenure? And I think with a new manager appointment like Iraola, players would feel he will be in the job for at least a while. So I don't know what to read of that, but I think it's a bit of a concern also, because they came right after Jurgen Klopp left. So why are both of them suddenly leaving? I'm not too sure what to make of that as well. But we need signings. We need to get things over the line. And I am even more worried about the fact that we, from last year up until this year, we are not able to get signings over the line. Previously, when we show interest in a player, in the next few hours or the next day or the next few days, it is deal done. But recently, it's a bit of a roller
It's a
coaster
drag.
where,
It
yeah,
takes too
it's a
long.
bit of a
It becomes
drag,
a
and
saga.
yeah, it's a bit concerning for me. It's like Man United signing a player. It's giving me flashbacks of those days, and it's like recently, whenever we go into signing a player, they are quoting extortionate prices, and I'm a bit concerned about that. I don't know if those who did deals for us previously under Klopp, they were extremely good at what they did, and that is why we're able to get some of the signings we did. Because for someone like Munoz, I like that type of signing. Didn't really hear anything. You just hear the here we goes, £40 million. It's a cool deal. No money. No one is really talking about him. He comes and he
And
plays his
normally those
football,
are the
and then we
players
go
that
from
come
there.
into the team and succeed. They are the type of players who come to Liverpool and they just hit the ground running
Yeah,
right
under
from
the
there.
radar. I think the Munoz signing really reminds me of the Jota one. It's like Diogo Jota. I mean, we've heard his name in the Premier League, but that time it was pretty much Raul Jimenez. It was Joao
Mm,
Moutinho. It was Ruben Neves. But Jota, okay, we'll see what he can do. Then he comes in against Arsenal, backs a goal, and then we saw that okay, actually, we now know why they signed Diogo Jota. That is how we used to sign players. But I don't really see that anymore. I just hope we can, because we need bodies desperately. And I think that is also why some of these clubs are mentioning extortionate prices to us, because they have seen our squad and they know that Liverpool are desperate for, let's say, a winger. So if they come to the market and they want our right winger, we need to make sure we take as much as we can from that deal.
yeah, yeah. I know. We need players, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised that we wouldn't get most of the signings that we think the squad needs, and they might they might just keep their powder dry. Maybe one signing comes in from now till the end of the transfer window, and then we'll be stuck with using the academy boys and players who
Yeah,
were on the fringes, like Calvin Ramsey, that has been written off by slots.
yeah,
We might be here, and next season Calvin Ramsey would make about 40 appearances.
yeah.
I
And if
wouldn't be
it,
surprised at all to
And
see that.
if we are not to, let's say we don't get a right winger, makeshift, we could use Calvin Ramsey at right back. Jeremy Frimpong could probably slot in as a
The
on the
right
right
winger.
channel as a right midfield, the right winger, whatever you want to call it. But
Yeah,
the priority we do need, even if I wouldn't be too bothered if we don't get, let's say, four signings. If we get two and it's the priority position that we need, I think I'm quite okay with it, because I
mm,
feel Andoni Raiola is a kind of manager that whether or not he wins a trophy, that one is a bit of a long-term thing. But I feel he has that ability to improve players. And if he does improve some of the current players we have, I think it will be enough to at least qualify us to the Champions League again next season.
I do think that he has an opportunity to win a trophy, but that is if we get the signings that we are talking about. If we don't get
Mhm.
the signings, then we should forget about winning any trophy, even the Carabao Cup. Because for us to be able to do that, we need to be able
Mhm.
to rotate the squad and
Yeah,
not drop the level too much, right?
yeah,
Because of course, I think I do see right now, I do see Iraola maybe starting the Ndiaye guy in a Carabao Cup or in
mm,
an FA Cup game. I do see
yeah,
him doing that. He wouldn't hesitate at all. He would do that. But then when it comes to playing Champions League on Wednesday and playing a big game in the Premier League
yeah.
on the weekend, and you have maybe Jake and Van Dijk, who are you going to
Mm,
rotate in? You can't rotate anybody in because those are your first show. You play them in both games. But if we had another centre back, for example, we brought in someone like Van de Ven from Tottenham, he will be able to switch one of the centre backs and play him in the weekend if we have a
yeah.
big game, right? So
W- w-
for me,
Would
that
you
is where I
keep
think the
would you
problem
keep
is.
Federico Chiesa?
Federico Chiesa, no, I think he's overstayed his welcome, and he's proven what he can do, and what he can do, I think, is not enough for Liverpool. For instead of keeping Federico Chiesa, why don't we give the chance to one of the youngsters who came on? For example, yesterday, I've forgotten the guy's name. We had Scanlon on the other side. I think he was quite good yesterday. I saw he did a few things that were really good for me. On the right hand side, the guy who scored the first goal, I
Yeah,
always forget his
Kieran
name, but
Kieran
sorry.
Morrison.
Morrison, yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of keeping Chiesa, right, he's going to get a higher salary if we keep him. These youngsters, we can use them and pay them very little, and they will still be willing to die for that position.
What
So I
about
think,
someone like Endo?
yeah, I think Endo should be, if he's not going to play, he should be allowed to go. But if Andoni Raiola wants to use him, I think he can use him and get the best out of him. For me, that is what I think. He's old, he's going to be slow, but we can use him in the caps. All right. So if we are
Yeah.
not going to get a defensive midfielder to be able to rotate him with Gravenberg, and nobody is coming in to buy Endo, why not? We can keep him, use him only in the caps, right? Because in the caps, sometimes you need the experience. You need players who can be experienced. But I do think that if we do bring in someone, then Endo has to leave.
I think
Yeah.
one player I'm really excited to see, and I hope he turns up, is Munoz. If Munoz is able to hit the ground running, it will also help us. Isak will not stay fit for an entire season. It will mean that Gakpo will need to go in the number 9 at times. Ruben Gomoha could go on the right wing at times, and then Munoz will be on the left. So
Yeah.
I just hope he can hit the ground running.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, guys, this is how we end our discussion on transfers. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here, like the video, share, also comment down below. Let us know your thoughts about Liverpool squad and where you expect Liverpool to bring in players. You never walk alone. Catch you later.